last night, but saying at a certain point in the league's existence, I'm going to need for Kelsey Mitchell to get the same whistle as each other stars. The way she gets assaulted is insane, actually. And I've considered roping my sister in it to have office purse charges. Now, this is when Caitlin Clark chimed in. Caitlin Clark said, careful, you're going to get fined. Then Sydney Coulson said, I can't get.
The WNBA has been rocked by yet another explosive controversy as Caitlin Clark and Sydney Coulson have broken their silence on the league's ongoing referee bias. This time, there's no holding back. The Indiana Fever stars are openly calling out what they describe as some of the most blatant double standards in professional sports. Here's how this firestorm erupted, and why it could expose one of the WNBA's biggest hidden truths.
Who paying you, ref? Who you betting on? And mind you, there was some problems going on with the shot clock throughout the game. But man, there is no way. Right at the end of the game, you should be on top of it. You telling me you're not paying attention to when some hands touch that ball? Come on, man. And then to reward them with the timeout, like, fam, that's crazy work. Look, Caitlin Clark, like, what is going on here? She's like, no. Look, Caitlin ready to run the floor, fam. She's like.
Following the Indiana Fever's nail-biting 76-75 win over the Los Angeles Sparks on August 29th, what should have been a night of celebration quickly spiraled into controversy. From home, Sydney Coulson, sidelined all season with a torn ACL, witnessed something on the court that left her furious.
There is one referee. We definitely have to check for betting slips for this guy right here. I think his name is like Agun Agazi, because it sure seemed like he did not want to let the Fever take away this win, making the last 1.9 seconds last almost 5 minutes. He was just like letting them call a reset timeout, and then he was like, no, it's a foul. But I think the worst part about that 1.9 seconds was when 0.4 seconds was left on the clock and Kelsey Mitchell was at the free throw line. She was trying to miss on purpose because that takes time off of the clock, because if she would have made it in, they would have been able to inbound and possibly do a tip in. But this guy allowed a reset timeout. When do you allow
in
a
the
reset
second
timeout
quarter,
with 0.4
as
seconds?
Kelsey Mitchell drove hard to the basket, Kelsey Plum reached in and yanked her, clearly trying to stop the play. The foul was so blatant that even fans in the nosebleeds couldn't miss it.
Oh, there's a Leah. You gave them every chance to win. If you look at this in slow motion, you can see Caitlin Clark clearly smiling in confusion, smiling in, did that really just happen? Smiling in, you slide W. And she says, she points at the other team, you gave them every chance to win. Oh, goodness gracious. Caitlin Clark, she's chomping at the bits to start talking to these referees during the game, during free throws, after the game.
Yet, somehow, unbelievably, the officials let it go, as if they were watching an entirely different game. Mitchell powered through and finished the drive with a layup, but the damage was already done. The Fever bench erupted in frustration, and that's when everything really started to heat up.
That's what everybody saw in that game. Like, it didn't really matter what was going on. We all knew what was happening. We all knew what was happening there. And the game was being given. The game was absolutely being given to the Sparks. They were giving the Sparks every single chance possible to go and win that game. Even though, realistically, did they deserve to win that game? Hell no. Hell no. They did not. And I mean that. They did not deserve to win that game.
Caitlin Clark, despite being sidelined with an injury, couldn't hold back. She jumped up from the bench, shouting at the officials, "Call it! Call it!" Her teammate, Lexi Hull, just as outraged, rose to protest, only to be slapped with a technical foul on the spot. Let that sink in. Hull gets punished for reacting to an obvious miscall, while the player who committed the foul walks away untouched, playing on like nothing ever happened.
Yo,
Please tell me y'all saw Caitlin Clark, the GOAT. Y'all saw Caitlin Clark crash out on the bald head ref last night. Please tell me y'all saw this. And she had Caitlin Clark spazzed on the referee last night. And I'm not mad about it. I see a lot of the haters talking about, oh, she be doing too much with the man. Mind your business. You are not in a GOAT's place, so stay out of a GOAT's business, okay? It's that simple. The officiating was awful last night. I don't know what was going on in that Los Angeles Sparks Indiana Fever game, but the officiating was flat out.
If you're enjoying this, make sure to subscribe, because here's where things get absolutely wild. Watching this chaos unfold from her living room, Sydney Coulson finally snapped. She jumped on social media and fired off a tweet that said what everyone else was too scared to say. At a certain point in the league's existence, I'll need Kelsey Mitchell to get the same whistle as other stars. The way she gets assaulted is insane, actually, and I've considered roping my sister in to have her office pursue charges. This wasn't some random outburst from an injured player chasing attention. Coulson was deadly serious about the systematic targeting of Indiana Fever players, and she wasn't afraid to put it in writing for the entire league and world to see. The tweet went viral faster than a Caitlin Clark three-pointer, and that's when Clark herself stepped into the conversation.
But Kelsey Mitchell's whistle last night was horrific. And Kelsey drove to the basket a lot. She is the type of person that just goes through a lot of defenders, and she wasn't getting a call. This really was not her game. She was not hitting it from the three whatsoever, but everyone is entitled to having a bad game here and there, and I think she was kind of due for one because of the tear that she's been on lately. Even Sid Coulson took to Twitter to talk about it, saying, at a certain point in the league's existence, I'm gonna need Kelsey Mitchell to get the same whistle as other stars. The way she gets assaulted is insane, actually, and I've considered roping my sister in to have her pursued.
Clark's reply was brief, biting, and dripping with sarcasm. Careful, you're going to get fined. 5 words that perfectly captured everything broken about the WNBA's handling of player criticism. It wasn't just a joke. It was a direct shot at the league's hypersensitivity to anyone daring to challenge its officiating. And Clark knew exactly what she was doing. After all, her own teammate, Sophie Cunningham, had already been turned into the league's punching bag for daring to speak up about referee incompetence. Cunningham has been fined not once, not twice, but 3 separate times for criticizing officials, including a $500 fine over a TikTok video where she lip-synced lyrics calling refs stupid and useless, and another $1 $500 fine for comments on her podcast about referee inconsistency.
Careful, you're going to get fined. Then Sydney Coulson said, I can't get no more fine. So Lynn Dunn stated, agree, I will help pay the fine. So that's what Lynn Dunn stated yesterday about the fines. And Caitlin Clark said, love it. Everyone listen to Lynn. So it's definitely a lot of exchange going back and forth there. That's crazy. Erica's in the mix.
But it didn't stop there. Cunningham got slapped with a 3rd fine, this time for daring to question why rookie sensation Paige Buchers seemed to be getting VIP treatment from the officials. She said, those refs were giving her every freaking whistle last night. Like, you couldn't touch her. That is so annoying to me. And if you're going to do that, then give it to our guards. For simply stating the obvious truth about referee bias, the WNBA punished her yet again. Think about the message that sends. The league is basically telling players, shut up, accept whatever treatment we give you or we'll fine you into bankruptcy. Is like watching a protection racket disguised as professional sports governance. Coulson understood this perfectly, which is why her response to Clark's warning was just as revealing. I can't get no more fine. Translation? She's already been financially punished for speaking truth to power, and she's reached her breaking point.
I love Paige to death. Do not get me wrong. I think, I think she's a hell of a player and, would love to play with her one day. But those refs were giving her every freaking whistle last night. You literally couldn't touch her. And that shit is so annoying to me. And if you're going to do that, then give it to our guards. I just hate the inconsistency.
When whistles are player focused, that's I think that's a huge problem. But then again, I don't know what sport that doesn't exist. But she's a rookie. She shouldn't get whistles as a rookie.
Facts.
Is that fair to say?
We know. Yes, or we know she's a good rookie and like she's gonna get some whistles, but like to get the treatment she got last night was.
But here's where it goes from frustrating to downright infuriating. The numbers back it all up. Caitlin Clark absorbed 17% of all flagrant fouls in the WNBA this season. 17%. That's not bad luck. That's not a coincidence. That's systematic bias dressed up as competitive basketball. And Clark isn't the only one. Kelsey Mitchell, as Coulson highlighted, gets hacked, shoved, and grabbed game after game with almost no repercussions for her opponents. In that Sparks matchup, despite attacking the rim all night, Mitchell made it to the free throw line just twice. Now compare that to the star treatment other players enjoy, and the double standard becomes impossible to ignore. Instead of addressing the actual problem, the WNBA has chosen to find its own players in the silence, prioritizing the egos of referees over the integrity of competition. When Sophie Cunningham called out the inconsistency, saying, "If I was a ref, I know I would mess up all the time, but when it is a simple call right in front of your face multiple times, what are you doing?" The lead didn't fix the officiating. It just reached for her wallet.
More people are talking about the refs than that. More people are talking about Caitlin Clark's reaction than that. And that just sums up how bad the refereeing is that we have seen an unbelievable game. We have seen an unbelievable game. A game where you're like, okay, maybe, just maybe, the Fever have not even just maybe, the Fever put themselves in a great position. They put themselves in a great position to succeed. But now you're looking and you're like, what do people remember from this game? Caitlin Clark having to be restrained by her team.
This isn't just about a few bad whistles or a handful of blown calls. This is about a systemic pattern of bias that's actively undermining the integrity of the entire league. Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White has been sounding the alarm for months, calling the officiating egregious, and pointing out the obvious double standards at play. Her reward? Fines. Because apparently, in today's WNBA, telling the truth is a punishable offense that what makes it so maddening is how blatant the favoritism has become. You can literally watch referees enforce two completely different standards in the same game. What's a foul for one team becomes a no call for another. Hard screens that draw whistles against Indiana suddenly become clean basketball plays when other teams run them. And the technical foul disparity? Don't even start. Caitlin Clark gets barked at by officials for simply showing emotion after obvious no calls, while opposing players can commit actual flagrant fouls and keep playing like nothing happened. It's like watching two separate rule books being applied on the same court at the same time.
Right here, okay? It was this dude right here. And from what I've seen, the man has been a part of controversial calls all year. He's been a part of it all year, man. Oh, my goodness. What was his name? Jack, what you say? Agan Abazi. Agan Abazi, man. This man is diabolical work to the WNBA. He's betting. Somebody get the shame bell. Ding, ding, shame. Ding, ding, shame. Ding, ding. Come on, man.
The league's strategy of financial intimidation becomes even more disgusting when you put it next to the WNBA's salary structure. Sophie Cunningham, making roughly $90,000 this season, has already been fined over $2,000 for speaking out. That's not pocket change. That's a meaningful slice of her paycheck, essentially punishing her for criticizing poor performance in her own workplace. But here's the delicious irony. The WNBA's heavy-handed tactics are backfiring spectacularly. Instead of silencing criticism, they create a full-blown Streisand effect. Every new find amplifies the story, rallies more fans behind players, and shines a brighter light on the league's broken system. Fever fans are literally offering to pay Coulson's potential fines. Former team executives like Lynn Dunn are openly siding with the players over the league office. And the timing couldn't be worse. The WNBA is in the middle of unprecedented growth, thanks in large part to Caitlin Clark's electrifying rookie season. Instead of protecting their brightest stars, they're letting them get mauled on the court, and punishing anyone brave enough to point out is like owning the goose that lays golden eggs. and deciding to shoot it because it honks too loudly.
Sparks got every single call imaginable, and it was just noticeable to the point you got Caitlin Clark running on the floor, ready to crash out on a ref in the middle of the game, to the point where it's obvious. It's obvious. It's like the fix was in. The fix was completely in. So the WNBA needs to do something about this. Kathy Engelberg, you need to get a hold of what's going on here. The officiating Kelsey Mitchell getting knocked around like a damn pinball.
And so here we are, watching the WNBA's biggest stars call out the league's most glaring problem, while the front office answers with financial threats instead of meaningful reform. It's the perfect snapshot of everything broken in how this league is run. Players like Clark and Coulson deserve real credit for saying what everyone else has been thinking and for risking punishment to do it. The only question now is whether the WNBA will finally listen to its players and its fans, or double down on a strategy of intimidation and willful blindness. Given their track record, no one should hold their breath for sweeping change. But at least now, thanks to athletes like Caitlin, Clark, and Sydney Coulson, the world can finally see what's been hiding behind the league's carefully polished facade.